Hi everyone, this is Dr. Karna Kumar speaking. I'm consultant hematologist and bone marrow transplant physician. Today evening, I'm going to discuss certain aspects of COVID vaccination in patients with low platelet count. I've done this video in Telugu and people are receiving it well, and few viewers have requested me to make this video in English. So we all are well aware of this COVID vaccination and its importance. When it comes to patients with low platelet count, there are some concerns here. So what is the concern? Will the vaccination increases the bleeding at the injection site, and will the vaccine further aggravates the drop in platelet count? These are the two valid concerns. So I'm going to address the first issue here because the second issue, which is platelet drop following vaccination, is a very rare adverse effect. So so before answering the role of vaccination in patients with low platelets, we need to know what is the cause of low platelets here. So we all know infections are the common cause of low platelets, and patients with bacterial infections, viral infections, these can have drop in platelet count. And usually patients with active infections are not eligible for vaccination, and we need to wait till their recovery and then plan for vaccination. And usually with recovery, the platelet normalizes in these patients. And there are other instances where the drugs and certain medications can cause drop in platelet count. Other than these, there are blood disorders like blood cancers and ITP where there are low platelets. So I'm going to discuss mainly in ITP setting. So what to do about low platelets and vaccine over here. So if you look at the patients with ITP, it's not a single disease. You have two sets of population here. The first set of population who have low platelet counts, means less than 1.5 lakh, anywhere between 30,000 to 1.5 lakh, and they're asymptomatic and they are not on any medications. The second set of patients are the ones who are on treatment but still have low platelet count. Again, in these patients, there are patients with few drugs, one drug, two drugs, multiple combinations, and there are certain patients who are refractory to treatment also. So if you take these patients, for the first question is, what is the safe platelet count for COVID vaccination? So usually what we say in these patients, in any patient, say platelet count more than 30,000 is safe, doesn't result in any bleeding tendency. Same thing applies for even ITP patients. Patients who have platelet count more than 30,000 usually don't have any contraindication for vaccination. And also the needle which has been used in COVID in giving COVID vaccine is very thin, usually doesn't result in injury at all at the injection site and doesn't aggravate bleeding over there. So needle wise, it's a very thin needle, doesn't cause bleeding, and platelet count wise, more than 30,000 is safe for vaccination. In any instance, usually post vaccination, it's better to hold and press the area for at least 2 minutes after vaccination. So now, what about the patients who have platelet count less than 30,000? So there are certain patients who have platelet count less than 30,000, but still they don't have bleeding tendency. Even those patients can go for vaccination. And see, there are experts in ITP. So in their multiple conferences, recently there is a lot of discussion going on in ITP patients and COVID vaccination. What they have come up is there is no contraindication for any amount of platelet count. Even less than 30,000, they can go for vaccination, but always check with your doctor and then go ahead for vaccination. So then, what about medications and ITP patients? So each patient responds to a different drug. So the common drugs which we use in ITP are prednisolone, MMF, cyclosporin, and dapsone, and azuran. These are the drugs which we use commonly, and each patient, depending on their response, they'll be on different drug. So basically, these are all come under a category of immunosuppressives. So why this ITP is an immune mediated disease. So the drugs which we use in ITP are kind of immunosuppressives. So can we give vaccine in these patients who are on immunosuppressive drugs? That's a very valid question which every ITP patient asks us. So now here the idea is the who has the high risk of acquiring COVID infection, those who are immunosuppressed. So ideally, these are the patients who should go for vaccination first. So will getting vaccine in these patients, will it harm them? That is the very valid question. So now what happens post vaccination in these patients? Does it harm them? Will it result in meaningful responses? See, if you the vaccine, usually we need a potent, competent immune system to generate adequate antibodies in our body. So in ITP patients, usually because of these drugs, there will be certain element of immune suppression which may result in weak responses to the vaccine. But still, response is a response. Still can have certain protection from COVID infection. So always, it's better to go for vaccination even if you are on these immunosuppressive drugs. There are certain important things which you should know. Suppose say you are on high dose steroid, say 60 mg or 1 mg per kg body weight, it's always better to wait till your dose comes to 20 mg to have a good responses. But you still, if you have a high risk for acquiring COVID infection, always go ahead with the COVID vaccination, even the steroid dose is higher. But what you should understand is you may not get enough response as seen in a normal person. So one more most important aspect is rituximab, to understand the drug rituximab in ITP setting. So we give rituximab in ITP patients as a second line drug or a third line drug in a certain refractory patient. So this drug almost clears the antibody producing lymphocytes. So in such cases, if you receive rituximab, it's always ideal to postpone vaccination for at least 6 months, because the effect lasts for at least 6 months in the body. So if your doctor is planning rituximab for you, so discuss with your doctor, and if possible, postpone rituximab for at least a month after vaccination. But in practice, it's very difficult. Patients can be sick, they may having bleeding symptoms, it may not be possible. Should be decided on case to case basis. So what are the key points here? So any platelet count is not a contraindication for vaccine. If less than 30,000, always discuss with your doctor. Remember to press and hold at the injection site for 2 minutes. And then about medications. So any medication like among used in ITP are not a contraindication, but except rituximab. When you use rituximab, postpone vaccination for at least 6 months. So I'm going to end with certain